You see the pictures online. A guy in a sleek helmet, giving a thumbs up surrounded by blue water and colorful fish. It looks like an astronaut on vacation. People tell me, "Man, you have the coolest job in the world." I usually just nod and change the subject. Because if I told them the truth, if I really explained what it's like to live at 500 feet of pressure for a month, they wouldn't sleep right for a week. It's not cool. It's an industrial construction site located in a place hostile to human life. And the commute is hell. The first thing you need to understand is that the water isn't the primary danger. The pressure is. Down there, at depths where the oil companies need us to work, the weight of the ocean is crushing. It's 15, maybe 20 times the atmospheric pressure you're sitting in right now. You can't just dive down there and swim back up. The nitrogen in your blood would fizz like a shaken soda bottle. You'd bend so hard your joints would practically explode. So, to go to work, we have to get saturated. Before we even see the water, they lock 3 of us inside a steel hyperbaric chamber system bolted to the deck of the rig. It's our home for the next 28 days. Think of living in a couple of connected propane tanks with 2 other grown men. No privacy. The toilet is a joke. You sleep in a bunk just big enough to turn over in. And they pump it full of heliox, helium and oxygen. They slowly crank the pressure up over days until the atmosphere inside that steel tube matches the pressure at the bottom of the sea where we're going to work. And yeah, the helium. Everyone asks about the voice. You breathe that gas, and you sound like a cartoon character on speed. At first, the greenhorns think it's funny. After 3 days, it's hideous. It's this high, squeaky dissonance that makes everything sound ridiculous, even life or death instructions. You lose the ability to whistle. Food loses its taste. You're just existing in this thick, expensive air, marinating in your own sweat and anxiety, waiting for your shift. When it's time to work, you don't just open a door. You crawl through a transfer trunk into the diving bell. It's a smaller, spherical coffin that detaches from the main habitat system. This is your elevator to the abyss. You seal the hatch, and the crane on the rig lifts you over the moon pool, the open hole in the deck leading to the ocean. This is the part one hate the most. The drop. You're sitting there, knees knocking against your dive partner, watching through the small viewport. You see the lights of the rig, the welding sparks, the guys on deck having coffee. Then you hit the water. The light turns green, then a sickly twilight blue, and then nothing. Just absolute, crushing blackness. You drop for what feels like an hour, listening to the cable creak and the gas hiss. You aren't floating, you're being lowered into a void. When the bell hits working depth, say 550 feet, you equalize the pressure, open the bottom hatch, and there it is. The job site. In the North Sea, that water is cold enough to kill you in minutes if your heating system fails. We wear hot water suits. Imagine a wetsuit that constantly pumps near boiling water over your skin just to keep your core temperature stable. You lock that heavy Kirby Morgan helmet onto your neck dam. You check your umbilical. The umbilical is everything. It's a thick bundle of hoses taped together, your gas supply, your hot water, your comms, your depth gauge, and a light cable. It's a leash connecting you to the bell, and the bell to the surface. If that gets cut, you're dead. There is no swimming to the surface. You are trapped at that depth. I drop out of the bell hatch and my weighted boots hit the silt. It's quiet. That's the thing movies get wrong. There's no dramatic music. Just the roar of your own breathing in the helmet and the occasional metallic clank of your tools. Your vision is limited to the pool of light from your helmet lamp, maybe 10 feet if the silt is down. Beyond that, it's ancient darkness. I remember a job back in '08, Gulf of Mexico. We were doing thermal lance cutting on a bent riser structure that a hurricane had twisted up. Nasty, jagged metal everywhere. The current was ripping that day, maybe 2 knots, dragging you sideways constantly. You're fighting just to stay in one place, burning through steel underwater, sparks flying in that black water, which is a sight, I'll admit. I was the primary diver out of the bell, 90 feet away from safety, focused on the cut. I went to shift my position, to brace against the current, and I felt a tug. Not a hard one. Just resistance. My umbilical had looped around a piece of jagged wreckage behind me. A snagged umbilical is a mild annoyance up on the surface. Down here, it's a death sentence that just hasn't been signed yet. I stopped cutting immediately. First rule, don't panic. Panic makes you breathe faster, burns through your bailout bottle too quick. I could feel the current pushing against me, trying to stretch that leash even tighter against the wreckage. You have to be methodical. I radioed the bellman, my partner, who stays in the diving bell to manage the umbilicals and run the panel. Topside, diver 1. I'm snagged. 50 feet out at my 4 o'clock. Stand by. His voice came back in that high, squeaky helium chatter. Copy, diver 1. We're watching your excursion. Take it slow. Don't make it worse. I started to trace the line back, hand over hand, feeling the tension in the thick rubber casing. It wasn't just the current I was fighting, it was the physics of the environment. I was working near a junction in the pipe where 2 different systems met. That's where you get delta P differential pressure. The public worries about sharks. We worry about delta P. It's the most horrifying way to die down here. Imagine 2 bodies of water with different pressures, separated by a wall. If you open a valve or crack a flange, the water from the high-pressure side wants to rush to the low-pressure side with unbelievable force. It creates an invisible vacuum. If a diver gets too close to that flow, it's not like getting sucked into a pool drain. It's like getting hit by a freight train made of water. I've seen photos from a job off the coast of Norway. A diver was trying to seal a leak on a high-pressure pipeline. He got his arm too close to the gap. The differential pressure pulled his arm, then his shoulder, and eventually his entire body through a gap smaller than a dinner plate. It happens in milliseconds. You don't just drown, you are hydraulically disassembled. So, as I'm tracing my umbilical back towards the snag, every time I pass a flange or a valve, my heart rate is spiking. I'm not scared of monsters. I'm scared of math. The snag was nasty. A piece of torn grating, sharp as a razor, had hooked the umbilical right where the comms line was taped to the main gas hose. I had to get my hands in there, in that zero visibility silt, and work it free without cutting the outer sheath of my own lifeline. It was about then that the HPNS started to kick in, high-pressure nervous syndrome. It's what happens to your central nervous system when you compress it under 15 atmospheres of helium. My hands, already clumsy in the thick rubber gloves, started to tremor. A fine, vibrating shake that made it almost impossible to get a grip on the grating. Then comes the brain fog. It's like trying to do calculus while someone is blasting white noise in your ears. You know what you need to do, but the signal from your brain to your hands is getting scrambled. Diver 1, what's your status? You've been in one spot for 3 mics. The bellman's voice cut through the fog. Working it, tremors are bad, stand by. I gritted my teeth so hard I thought I'd crack a molar. You focus on the procedure. Step 1, stabilize. Step 2, assess. Step 3, act. I wedged my boot against a solid piece of structure to stop the current from spinning me. I used my left hand to hold the umbilical steady, fighting the tremors. With my right hand, I took my dive knife, and used the blunt pommel to hammer the piece of grating loose. It took 10 minutes. 10 minutes of sweating inside a freezing helmet, listening to the gas roar, feeling the tremors run up my arms. When it finally popped free, I almost fell backward into the blackness. I reeled in the slack, checked the sheath for cuts. It was frayed, but holding pressure. I made it back to the bell, and when that hatch sealed and the water drained out, I just sat on the bench, shaking, for 20 minutes. The bellman didn't say anything. He just handed me a lukewarm pouch of water. We didn't need to talk about it. That's the reality. You are isolated in a way that astronauts in the ISS aren't. If they have an emergency, they can be back on Earth in a few hours. If the rig above us explodes, or a hurricane rolls in and they have to cut us loose, we are stuck in that metal ball at the bottom of the sea. We can't just come up. We have to decompress. From that depth, it takes a week, maybe 10 days, to bring the pressure down slowly enough so we don't die of the bends. So you sit down there, watching the depth gauge, knowing that for the next week, no matter what happens in the world, you are living on borrowed air in a steel tomb. That's when the mind starts to play tricks on you. That's when you start seeing things in the shadows of the viewport that aren't there. And that's when you realize why we get paid what we do. It's not for the work. It's for the willingness to be buried alive. The job ends, but you don't get to go home. Not yet. When the bell locks back onto the habitat module on the deck of the rig, you crawl back into that steel tube you share with 2 other guys. You're still at 500 feet of pressure, even though you're above water. Now begins the long road home. Decompression. It's the longest commute in the world. To come up from that depth without dying takes about 8 days. 8 days of sitting in a metal box the size of a minivan, while a computer slowly bleeds off the pressure. You watch movies you've seen 10 times. You read books until the words blur. The smell is something you never forget: sweat, chemical toilets, and that weird, metallic scent of the breathing gas. Your body aches constantly. We call them the niggles. It's little bubbles of nitrogen forming in your joints, in your tissues. Not enough to bend you, but enough to make your knees feel like they're filled with ground glass. You try to sleep, but the rig is vibrating, the gas is hissing, and your mind is still down there in the silt, replaying that snagged umbilical. You think about what this job costs you. I've got guys on my crew who have dysbaric osteonecrosis, bone rot. The pressure kills the blood supply to parts of their bones, usually the hips or shoulders. They're walking around at 45 years old with the joints of an 80-year-old. And then there's the time. You miss birthdays, anniversaries, school plays. My daughter learned to ride a bike while I was sitting in a chamber in the North Sea. When you finally get home, after a month away, you feel like a ghost in your own house. The world moved on without you, and you're still adjusting to the atmosphere. So why do we do it? The money, sure. The money is ridiculous. You can make a year's salary in 2 months if you're willing to live like a lab rat. But you can't spend it when you're dead. There has to be something else. For me, it's the quiet. Up here, everything is noise. Everything is complicated. Down there, it's simple. It's just you, your skills, and the physics of survival. You are a visitor on an alien planet. I've seen things in the deep that would make you question everything. I've seen thermal vents teeming with life that shouldn't exist, giant squids that look at you with eyes the size of dinner plates, and landscapes of twisted metal wreckage that look like the ruins of a lost civilization. There's a strange peace in the abyss. You are completely cut off from the world. No phones, no emails, no news. Just the job. For those few hours you're out of the bell, you are master of an environment that wants to crush you. There's a pride in that, a stubborn refusal to be beaten by the elements. But don't mistake my respect for love. I don't love the ocean. You can't love something that is indifferent to your existence. The ocean is a machine. A giant, cold, hungry machine that has been running for billions of years, and it will keep running long after we're gone. It doesn't care how well trained you are, or how expensive your gear is. It is always waiting for you to make one mistake. So when you look at the water, when you go to the beach and see those nice blue waves, remember that it's just a thin skin over a profound and ancient darkness. There are monsters down there, but they aren't the ones with teeth. They are pressure, cold, and time. And they are always hungry.